Now, Tony, you there?
Okay.
Good morning,
I'm
Tony.
here.
Sorry to hear about your Rockies, man. It was a tough way to go out.
Oh, my gosh. It was a depressing Sunday for me. I'm never watching sports again.
Till next Sunday.
You're right.
Yep.
All right, let's get to it. Talk about this Proposition 2, which is not getting a lot of attention, but it deals with the parks. You've been writing about this the last couple of days. What's going on?
Yeah, well, one of the things that struck me is we've got a big ballot in November. There's lots of propositions. There's statewide amendments and propositions, and there's a bunch of stuff on the county ballot. And this one is really interesting, and I thought that it might escape people's attention. But I was driving by Creve Coeur Lake Memorial Park a few weeks ago, and I hadn't been there in almost a year since I had been writing about the proposed blues arena that ended up going somewhere else, and the debacle that was. And it struck me, I just went up to the park and walked around a little bit, and that area of land that they cleared, hundreds, thousands of trees and the wildland area and just, beautiful natural part of the park, still looks kind of like a moonscape. I mean, basically they seeded it, grass and weeds are growing and some wildflowers. These big retention ponds that were built for a parking lot and a big roof are just sitting there like big holes in the ground. And this is what happens when you let government, take over a park without any sort of plan, without any sort of, public process and all of that. And so Proposition 2 that the county council has put on the ballot for November is a reaction to this. But it's not just this park. It turns out, St. Louis has a variety of parks in its history where after a period of time, at some point, somebody came to the county executive or the county council and said, hey, we need a police station here. We need a 911 center here. We need an ice arena here. The easy thing for government to do is say, well, we got land over there. We don't have to buy anything. Let's just build it there. And we forget the history of why that park is there and what people use it for and who donated the land and all of those sorts of things. So what Proposition 2 does is it says you can't do that anymore. If the county wants to use existing parkland for something, commercial, government purpose, whatever, they've got to just go to a vote of the people. And I personally think that makes a lot of sense looking at the history of St. Louis and what's happened to a variety of its parks. It's interesting. I've gotten a lot of emails from the column from people reminding me of other examples. There's Sylvan Springs, which part of which is going to be dedicated to Jefferson Barracks. A lot of people think that's a great idea, but it's still being done without a public vote. There's Ohlendorf West, where a 911 center was built. Again, an important thing, but does it have to be in the park? There's lots of examples in this county's history where our government officials have said, we preserved that land for a reason for the next generation, but we're going to just skip over that.
As a member of the Great Rivers Greenway Board, I'm going to be very careful in what I say. I'm not going to take a position one way or the other on Prop 2. But from what I understand, Tony, this Prop 2 will allow Jefferson Barracks to take that land for the cemetery, and then everything else would have to go to a vote after that.
Yes, that decision's already been made. It was preemptive, and so that one's done. And I know there's some people upset about that. I haven't done any reporting on that. I do believe there's been a lot of public process on that, and that's sort of one of the main things about the spirit behind this law is to make sure that this stuff doesn't happen without people really having a say.
Yeah. Now,
it differentiates between really big parks like regional parks like Creve Coeur Lake Memorial Park, or small little parks like one I wrote about on the south side that doesn't even have a name, in which the county a couple of years ago in 2015 built a police precinct. And it's a small park that just affects mostly one little subdivision, but those folks were pretty upset about it. They didn't have a say.
I also understand that if this Prop 2 passes, it would have stopped the Blues Training Center. That would have had to go to a vote of the people.
Yes. Well, it would have stopped the one that they were trying to build, which got stopped anyway.
Right.
The one that they're building now isn't on parkland. They would have been fine.
Okay. All right.
So that's sort of the whole point. Is that thing never needed to be in a park. They decided to put that thing in a park because it was easy.
Right.
Where they're building it now, adjacent to the casino, is not parkland. It's fine. They're going to get it done. They're already making progress. Everything else, no problem. The delays are because they made the foolish decision to try to put it in a park.
Yeah.
A federally protected park at that, which was just another step of sort of incompetence in the process. But I haven't found anybody yet in this county who doesn't really appreciate what we have in our parks and want to see them preserved for the next generation. And so I expect it probably passes overwhelmingly. But
yeah,
you never know. We'll see about these things.
Prop 2, Tony, write us about it, stltoday.com, and you're with us every Tuesday and Thursday. Tony, have a good week. Thanks for checking in.
Good to talk to you.